evening, race fans, and welcome. It's VirtualRacing.Network's live presentation of iRacing. Tonight, it's the NORA Cup Series 2023 because it's Tuesday here on VirtualRacing.Network, and that's what we do every Tuesday. It's Season 3, Race 25, and once again, we are back at the lovely 3/4 of a mile Richmond Raceway. It's given us so much great action already the last couple of nights, and welcome back to the booth. I, Trevor Greenfield, am so grateful to have you back in the booth, Christian Snyder. And Christian, what do we have to look forward to tonight here at Richmond with the NORA Cup Series?
It should be some good racing, if it's any indication from what we saw last night. It's going to be pretty green flagged throughout the night. You know, I think the yellow cloth will not be in the air as much here tonight. This track, you know, I love it. It's one of the only two tracks that I've actually been to in person in real life, and it always puts on some good races. With this car, though, maybe not so much. This car is a little too easy at this track, and it's really hard to pass, and this car just isn't good for short tracks, but these guys make it work somehow. Every time they come to a short track, they put on a good show, so can't wait to see what happens tonight. Not as much points battling going on tonight here as last night. You know, we were talking about points the entire night, but not the case tonight. We're just going to talk about who's winning this race tonight, and some good possibilities. Eric Sable in the field for, I think, only the second time here in the Cup Series.
Absolutely, and great to have him joining us. There he is on track for the JRC Sim team. Everett Coutts also out there, and both of these new drivers for the JRC Sim team already setting the fastest laps so far. As we get some of the favorites out there, there's Tim Harper, a new paint scheme, and also flashing over at Vincent Arthur, who puts in a good lap. Cody Height on YouTube putting in the third fastest time, and Blade Timmons, he switches to the JRC Sim team as well, and he puts in the second fastest time out there. Brady Moats getting in a good lap. He's going to be fourth fastest at the moment. And Christian, I was hoping you could jump on board here with Nick Geilis, and also, if he's since he's going to be in the field here tonight, congratulations to Josh Conover for taking the regular season NORA. Actually, it looks like he's slowing down a little bit, so we'll have to jump over to someone else here. But go ahead and walk us around Richmond here. We can congratulate Josh here in a second.
Yeah, a good person to jump on board with, Dustin Kleba. He knows what he's doing here. He gets into the corner nice and smooth, rolls the bottom, and then we'll come up to the wall on exit, and you can see you just want to stay in that dark groove on the bottom. That's where all the grip is going to be. And if there's anyone who is smooth behind the wheel, it's this guy. So he knows what he's doing here. You're going to see him dive into the corner, get as close to the yellow line as he can, and then run off the corner. He gets a little loose there.
Wow.
I think he's going to abort this lap here.
Well, that's two people.
He doesn't need the second one. Look, he's on pole with the first one. My goodness.
Taking pole position is something that Dustin Kleba certainly does know how to do, and we were just in the middle of trying to mention it. Got a little caught up coming into the broadcast tonight. Not quite as extended lead time as we normally get, but Conover taking the regular season NORA Truck Series Championship here on VirtualRacing.Network last night. Ronnie Norman, though, he's just about to head out there. We'll get a chance to follow him around the track. There is a little bit of points battling to happen a little bit further back. And, of course, also for this regular season championship, which, you know, really poked its head up there in the final race last night, as Conover was not really in the lead of the championship very much at all. And then he managed to take over the lead at the very crucial time last night with a solid performance, and it was all his doing. So tonight, Ronnie Norman and Vincent Arthur will be trying to battle it out for that regular season championship, albeit still quite a few races left in the regular season for these NORA Cup Series drivers. However, it's a bit more dire further back as we watch Ronnie Norman slot into 5th there with his lap, a solid qualifying effort for the Flatline Motorsports driver. But it's a bit more dire further back for drivers like Cameron Thompson, Josh Curry, who are on the bubble, and then a driver like Tom Senchek, who actually has a chance to bust into this championship on point, or this playoffs on points, and that would be something else as well to see him be able to do that, but he still has some ways to go. So here we take a look as they're starting to grid up out there on the track. This is your after 24 races, this is your points championship. Vincent Arthur still in the lead, but look how close that margin is. Just 6 points separating Arthur from Norman. And then quite a ways back to Brady Motes, but Motes there in 3rd, Matthew George in 4th. Of course, the drivers in yellow have already punched their tickets into the playoffs. Dustin Kleba, one of those. Cody Height, not yet taking a win here in the Cup Series, but he's pretty solidly in. And again, if you look a little bit further back, it's Joshua Curry, who's got 268 points. Cameron Thompson, 231 points. And that's just, one race's worth of good points, or 2, for Cameron Thompson to get back into the playoff zone. And now if you look at Tom Senchek, who's been doing excellent work out there, he's not that far off either. He can certainly climb right up into those playoffs with some more solid finishes here. So look at the owner points. Not too much changing. Prestige TRD jumping up into the 7th spot there. And pretty much everybody else still staying put with where they're at. So with that, it's time to take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race, round number 25 for the NORA Cup Series here at Richmond Raceway. And starting on pole is going to be Dustin Kleba with a fantastic lap there. Certainly no surprise to see the KPR Motorsports driver take that top spot. Second, Everett Krauts for JRC Sim Team. Once again, congratulations to him in his debut here for the NORA Cup Series, busting up into that 2nd spot. Josh Conover for Flatline Motorsports in the 2nd row with Blade Timmons, who switches over to that JRC Sim Team. On the 3rd row, Ronnie Norman and Cody Height. 4th row will be Brady Motes and Brady Motes and Eric Sable. And then starting 9th, Timmy Harper and Vincent Arthur. Starting in 11th place will be Ryan Bird and Anthony Mackey. And in 13th, Jacob Gladalich alongside Justin Moody. Brandon Dunford will be next to Jake Christenberry, Chad Engel and Adam Kulikowski, Nick Geilis, and Tom Senchek. Jacob Malone, who had a very interesting race here last night in the trucks, next to Matthew George, and Josh Curry will start at the back. And Christian, I don't see that Adam Kulikowski is actually going to make this field and make the start.
Well, he is connected back into the session. He should be starting from pit road. I guess he was trying to fix his paint scheme issue, but he will be coming back here momentarily.
Well, good for him. Love to have him back in the field. He's one of those solid independent drivers that seems to get it done on the regular basis, getting up there in the top 10 regularly, and always a lot of fun to watch. So we'll see if he can manage to do that. We're still under the pace truck here, just about to get this one underway. We've got 240 laps total. Of course, 42 laps in the opening stage, 138 laps in the second stage, and as I mentioned, 240 total here tonight. So buckle your seatbelts. This should be a wild ride. Last night, any indication? Christian, what's the strategy here tonight based off the last couple of nights we've seen here at Richmond?
I think the strategy is going to be track position. We've seen how tough it is to pass here, so these guys are going to want to stay up front as much as possible. So whether that means staying out and, getting that track position, after only about 15 lap run, you might want to stay out. But after about 20, 25, you have to pit for 4 tires. We saw how important tires were last night. It's going to be the same situation here tonight.
So certainly going to be some give and take on that strategy, and looks like Cout's having a problem disconnecting right now, so that's a rough go for him after being up there. We'll have to see if he's able to rejoin, but that green flag is in the air. We're going this time, Christian, and it's going to be Kleba and Couts. I'm sorry, Kleba and Timmons who start us off, and it's side by side into turn 1 with Josh Conover back in that familiar 25 Hendrick Cars paint scheme just behind. Now they scrap it out side by side, Timmons and Conover, and now it'll settle in nose to tail for those 3. Timmons gaining those 2 spots on the start. Kulikowski has now left the pits, and it looks like Geilis has pulled it in, so Geilis already calling it a night, starting and parking.
He's going to do race control like he always does. He just gets the points for his car for being there. So, but we see Ronnie Norman side by side with his teammate Eric Zabel. Not necessarily teammate, but same organization. And he's going to drop in behind Zabel. Zabel, I believe, coming from 10th already to 5th place.
Zabel, yes indeed. Well, up from 8th. Gaining 3 spots, not a surprise. We've seen Zabel do some pretty awesome stuff here in NORA, and to see him already jumping up several positions, again, no shocker. We'll see what he can do on board now with Zabel. He's going to try maybe on Cody Height. No, he just pulls down low, takes a look. Meanwhile, Ronnie Norman back there takes a look himself. The backside of Zabel, thinks about how he's going to try to get around. And we've got some issues. I think maybe Tim Harper having an issue, now sliding back through the field.
Looks like he's got some damage on that left front. We'll have to see what happened to him. No, it's just the lines of the paint scheme. I thought the left front was detached, but that is just the paint scheme there. But I think he might have just got loose going into turn 1 a little bit too hard on the brakes and lost a little bit of ground, but looks like he recovered nicely.
Well, certainly great to see Tim able to recover that one, as now Arthur side by side with Norman. That is going to take that position away. So Norman back into 7th place as Arthur begins to move forward, now up 4 positions from where he started in 10th place.
Yeah, and that's no surprise. Vincent Arthur, he always makes his way up to the front as soon as the green flag drops. He's on his way to the front. So I would say he's going to. Oh, we got trouble here. Brandon Dunford, he saves it though. No caution.
Dunford keeps it going. Mows some grass for the Nightmare Motorsports number 20 and keeps that car on track and keeps us green out here. Meanwhile, Dustin Kleba out in front out of Iowa City, Iowa. Christian, we're just getting darn used to seeing Kleba up there in the top position here in the NORA Cup Series.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, last week he said he does not like Richmond in these cars, so I think he likes it now that he qualified on pole and is out front.
Certainly, I'm getting used to hearing these drivers saying, oh, I'm no good at that track. No way. It's not going to work out next week. And then, boom, there they are doing well. Here's Tom Senchek. Now, as I mentioned, Senchek has... he's got a job to do here in the points. He's got to get some top finishes towards the end of this season to get up there into the playoffs, as he was a late arrival with that late Apex Racing team. But he certainly has the capability to do it. Certainly welcome over in our YouTube chat room to everybody who's watching us. Appreciate you checking in. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting on. I'm Trevor Greenfield. This is Christian Snyder, one of the team owners here in the NORA Cup Series for Full Send Motorsports. And I also see that Nick Eilis says, yeah, he tweaked his back out in the yard today, so he's going to do race control.
Yeah, that's never fun, tweaking the back. I know how that hurts and how long it can take sometimes to heal that. So that's never fun.
Never fun, especially when it cuts into your solid gaming time out there. And
easy, not gaming, simulation time.
I'm sorry, simming time. Excuse me.
That's one of the biggest debates, is this a game or is this simulation? People call it both, and I've always said it's a simulation because those NASCAR drivers that race in real life, they use iRacing before they go to the actual track and practice. So these guys, did a heck of a job making iRacing as real as possible.
Indeed, and we certainly appreciate that. Of course, some folks spending more on their sim rigs than it would cost to actually go real life racing in some circumstances. Some real great racing going on here. This is Eric Sable, Josh Conover now fighting it out for third place. There's some battles happening all over this field. Conover up in front of, Sable up in front of Conover now. And now looking a little bit further back, this is another battle happening as Vincent Arthur has moved ahead of Ronnie Norman, his teammate, and is starting to set his sights on that top 5.
Well, if my information is correct, this first stage is only 42 laps. It's a very short stage for these guys, so they are trying to push as hard as they can to try to get stage points here early.
Absolutely, and one of the things that I haven't really talked about a lot, but the bonus points for getting these stage points, among other things that you can do to get those bonus points, in some cases, some of these drivers are getting as much as between a quarter and a third of their overall points from the bonus points. And that is just amazing, especially when you consider, like right now, Vincent Arthur has over 200 bonus points, and you go back not that far to a couple of the drivers back in 16th, 17th, 18th position who have 10 bonus points or 0 bonus points. It's a healthy chunk of points that you make up for leading laps, finishing at the top end of these stages. It's really worth getting up there and running well and finishing well in these stages, and of course also leading laps and taking pole positions and things of that nature.
Well, the only points that you can get that are bonus points are the stage points. There's no points for leading laps, no points for pole, most laps led even. There's nothing for that. It is just straight up finishing positions and stage points. So maximizing your stage points is everything. We've seen it in real life with Martin Truex Jr. That one year that he won the championship, he was lights out in the stages, and it carried him the whole way to Homestead at that time. So these guys, winning the stages is everything. With Kleba, he's, I think, won, if I'm not mistaken, about 13 or 14 stages. So that's one playoff point every time you win a stage. So he gets 14 playoff points, essentially, that will carry the whole way to Phoenix.
Certainly, but once again, in order to get up there and win the stage, you've got to position your car at the front and take the lead. And certainly one of the ways to do that is to take pole position and lead a bunch of laps, as Dustin Kleba is doing at the moment. You could just lead the only lap that matters, which is the stage winning lap, but easier said than done, especially at a track like this here at Richmond. And Kleba doing a fantastic job now, opening up a solid lead. It's got to be about a 20 car length lead there over Blade Timmons, almost about a half a straightaway. He's got over Blade at the moment, with Eric Sable in third, Josh Conover in fourth, Cody Height in fifth, Vincent Arthur in sixth, Ronnie Norman seventh, Ryan Bird starting to make an appearance in this top 10. currently running back here in 8th position. So look at Bird's purple, not sure if that's the right name to use for it, but I'll call it purple late Apex machine. It's a beautiful metallic they got on that thing, but currently up 3 spots and running in 8th. And there's Brady Moats. He's drifted back a couple of spots from the start. Right now running in 9th place. And here's Jake Christenberry. Christenberry clan here checking in from Indiana. We can see over in the YouTube chat. Good to have you with us here, Megan Beadle, and the rest of the Christenberry clan. Will, you know, it'd be really cool if I could like put picture-in-picture up there with just Christenberry for y'all, so that you could watch along. But sadly, not something that we can make happen here in iRacing. But nevertheless, he's having a solid run right now, up 6 positions and running in that 10th spot. He does have Tom Senchek right on his muffler, and not that there's a muffler, right on his tailgate there. And Senchek himself up 9 positions from 20th up into 11th position. So we're seeing, as you said, Christian, you're going to be going to lap 42, which is another 14 laps. We're seeing these drivers sort it out, try to get their way up there into the top 5 so they can take the maximum amount of stage points.
Yeah, the person that's going to get the maximum amount of stage points is Dustin Kleba, as long as he doesn't have any incidents here. He is just gapping these guys. He's up to a 25 car length lead now. Basically almost half a straightaway lead on Blade Timmons, which Blade Timmons, he's no slouch. He came out here and won last night, so this is just showing how good Dustin Kleba is.
Indeed, Timmons with the score last night. And of course, Josh more than happy to offer him a seat at the JRC Sim team for owner points here tonight.
If I'm not mistaken, Blade has run for JRC Sim before this season. I think in that 42 car. But yeah, he came back over to JRC Sim to fill in for the 42 here tonight, and Eric Sable jumped over. I guess he wanted to run the Cup race, and this is, I think, only his 2nd or 3rd time in the Cup Series, so he's trying to break through and get a win in the Cup.
Well, certainly a great effort being put in by everybody over at the JRC Sim team. It's one of the absolute prestige teams here in the NORA Cup Series, and always interesting to see who's going to slot in for the night and take one of those seats. And looking over also in YouTube, we've got another chime in here from Emily Christenberry. Always great to see the Christenberries and Beetle and everybody else coming out and supporting their guy out here. Certainly do appreciate the fan club showing up, and I'm sure Ronnie Norman's fan club of Steven Dombrowski will be in tow anytime. He's always got to rep Ronnie Norman in the field and root him on. There's Norman. Norman having a good run right now, although he is down 2 spots from where he started the night. So things were going a little bit better. But right now he's just kind of treading water. And again, there's more strategies. You see Ryan Bird for late Apex now try to make that pass on Ronnie Norman. There is a lot of strategy to saying, okay, I'm not going to go after necessarily the stage win or the first stage of points. I'm going to set myself up really, really well for the second stage. Just different ways you can pit and different times you can take tires. You might even, if there's a yellow that comes out here, rather than necessarily staying out there and trying to battle it out for this stage, you might think about getting in and getting those new tires and being all set up for the second stage. So lots of strategy decisions to be made revolving these stages and when the cautions are, etc. Here's Conover about to be under attack from Cody Height just behind. So this is going to be for 4th place. Not sure if Height has enough time, but he's got about 3 more laps to try to get around. We'll see whether or not he can manage to do so.
Yeah, he's trying to use that outside on entry so that he gets a good run off the corner to get underneath Conover. You can see him entering a little higher than him, gets up to his bumper, and then we'll try to go underneath him here. Oh no, he's going to go to his outside. Conover gets loose.
Conover started to get loose and was kind of watching that battle unfold, and was kind of scared that Height was going to get into his right rear, but it doesn't seem as though that's what happened. We did also have a moment from Moody, Justin Moody, having an off track just a second ago, and there he is back on track. This was just a moment ago with Moody. As we watch this one unfold, coming down in the front straight.
Looks like he checked up to avoid Malone a little bit, who had like a weird moment. The car just kept turning to the left and wouldn't go back to the right. That kind of happens with these cars. Once you get a little bit loose, it goes where it wants to. It's a matter of just controlling the looseness. As we see Kleba going to come across the line here, and that will finish the stage here. He is the stage winner.
Dustin Kleba taking stage number 1. Congratulations to him. As the caution flag will come out, Kleba's gonna figure out how he's gonna attack this second stage. Blake Timmons taking second, Eric Sable in third. Cody Height does take that 4th position and some bonus points. And Vincent Arthur manages to get in 5th. And again, Arthur and Norman atop the regular season championship. Well, Arthur managed to score a few more extra points right there for taking 5th place. We're going to take a momentary break here on VirtualRacing.Network as everyone pits in the background. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be here with lots more green flag racing. Stay tuned. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You're watching live coverage of the NORA Cup Series at Richmond Raceway. And so far it's been an interesting race. Dustin Kleba has led from pole position and taken the first stage and managed to capture all of those playoff points with it. But also, Cody Height, under that caution, able to get in with his pit stop and get back out there in third position. And now, just due to choosing, he's going to end up restarting this race in second place. So Cody Height on YouTube making some smart decisions and some good pit stops. It looks like Eric Sable kind of lost out on pit lane. He clocked in with a 49-second overall time. It's about 2 seconds slower than everybody else. So Sable drifting back a little bit in the order right now. I think he's going to restart in about 7th place. But side by side for Cody and Kleba on this start.
Yeah, and Kleba with a great restart here. He's going to pull away from both Height and Timmons. And now Timmons looking underneath here, and he will clear Cody Height.
Timmons with a great run there, able to clear Height. Height actually not with such a good run there on that restart. Kleba able to easily pull away on that restart, and we're still racing side by side behind. That's Vincent Arthur, who's managed to get up there into 5th. Now we see Conover coming down low to cover that run that Cody Height had into the corner. Now here comes Ryan Bird.
Oh, Brady Moats into the wall.
Moats sliding down the order, getting into that wall, now running in 18th position, getting a challenge right now from Chad Engel. But meanwhile, back up front, this battle happening between Bird on that inside and Eric Sable on the outside. Here comes Sable to try to challenge. You can see Ronnie Norman floating around in the background, and then there's also Jake Christenberry. Vincent getting loose. There goes Ryan Bird. He sends it into the corner and drifts up the track, almost taking out Vincent Arthur. Meanwhile, Dustin Kleba sets the fastest lap of the race, and now side by side between Bird and Christenberry. This is for 6th place.
Looks like the track is heating up, and with the track heating up, I think tempers are starting to heat up too. If I'm Vincent, I'm not going to be too happy with getting moved out of the way. Like, I know he got loose, but then he got ran into, so he's probably upset not only at himself for making the mistake, but upset at Ryan Bird for overdriving the corner into him.
Well, 116 degrees out there on the track. We've got a yellow flag, though. Tim Harper, his woes here at Richmond continue. Last night, he had all kinds of issues, and so he thought, I'll put some armor on for tonight. But so far, that has not helped him. Let's back it up.
He's got some right front damage, so he has been into the wall with the front of his car, so we'll have to see what happens here.
There's Harper in that 12 machine wearing the all white and red tonight. It looks like 17 kind of slid up. Oh my goodness. A lot more happening than just Tim Harper, although he was the one who was reported. Was that Gladelich? Indeed, Gladelich, and that's Matthew George who got into that one. So let's back it up and we'll take a look at what Gladelich saw.
He's running here behind Eric Sable with Matthew George to his outside. He's going to get a little... Oh, George going to get loose, come down into Gladelich. And, man, Malone barely squeaks by.
Absolutely, just barely gets through on that. Let's take a look. This is on board with Gladelich. See George on the outside. He's going to clip him here. Sends him up into that wall. Gladelich comes down almost. Another couple of inches, and Malone would have been headed to pit road with some damage issues on this caution, but fortunately he did not have that issue. Here is from on board with George. Racing through the corner, just gets loose coming off, and it's just been so familiar. I mean, it's almost a characteristic of these cars inherently. They just love to get loose coming off the corner. But certainly at a short track like this, it's just one of those things that you got to watch out for. And this was a well-timed caution, as it's going to allow these drivers at the back to come in and get their damage repaired. So we've got Harper still out there on the track, but Gladelich, George, and I'm not sure if Couts, I guess Couts took on some damage at some point. I don't know if that car is steering correctly. See if everything works out okay, because he is right now about 7 laps down to the field. So that will at least allow him to get things going again.
Just to update his situation, remember he dropped at the beginning of the race and dropped from the session, so he's just coming back, trying to get some laps back. No damage to that car.
Well, that is good news. Wasn't sure if he was able to remake the start like Kulikowski was. Kulikowski out there right now. There he is. And it looks like he's got a paint scheme. Sans a number, but he's got a paint scheme. Perhaps easier if he doesn't have a number. That way it doesn't conflict with what we see on the screen, but either way.
Well, real quick, he did talk to me before the race, and he's gonna try to get some paint schemes from Snyder Graphics. Those guys make some good schemes, so they're gonna help him out and get him the right schemes for out here, so he doesn't get points penalties.
Well, that is great news, and of course Snyder Graphics, one of the sponsors here in the NORA Cup Series. So facebook.com/Snyder Graphics, your place to get the correct paint schemes to go racing. Here we go, back to the green flag. It's Dustin Kleba who gets another monster jump. Josh Conover kind of sitting duck there for Blake Timmons on the inside. Is Timmons gonna take that position in second place? He does. Conover now having to race side by side back here with Ronnie Norman. And here comes Cody Height looking on the outside of Josh Conover.
Yeah, business has been picking up ever since the second stage got underway. These guys are racing a little bit more aggressively, and that's when you see people get loose, especially on cool tires. And we got 2-3 wide the whole way back from about fourth on back.
Lots of side-by-side action here as we get this second stage truly underway with some green flag running. Of course, this second stage is going to go to lap 138. So we'll want to watch and see how this one unfolds. Last night we had a lot of green flag racing, a lot of chance for these drivers to really wear these tires. And Christian, we didn't get a chance to see Ronnie Norman out there. He was busy last night. He couldn't run the trucks. But this is exactly the type of race that, if it can go long enough, Ronnie Norman loves these tire management races.
Yeah, if you had quotation marks, busy, I don't know about that. But yeah, he wasn't out there last night because he had to go into work before the race was over, so he chose to give up his ride. But he was out there spotting and race controlling for most of the night, and he left with about, I think he said, 50 to go in the race. So he was hanging around. He I asked him, join the booth with us, man, have some fun, and he just would not. So,
well, but I couldn't blame him. I mean, if I could just be kicking back on my couch with my favorite adult cold beverage in my hand and watching this awesome NORA action unfold, it'd be a tough choice. I mean, I love you, Christian. I really do. But I mean, if I have the choice between the two, I might take a night off to go do that. But you know, certainly I understand. Last night was all about the points battles that were going on and people trying to get into the playoffs, and it was not about just going out and racing last night. It was about the guys at the top and the guys trying to get into the playoffs, and it was a lot of fun. And those of you who missed it, feel free to go back and watch it here on the archive, VirtualRacing.Network. Tonight, we're getting another good race here out of the NORA Cup Series, and we're going to see who has something for Dustin Kleba. It's been kind of a one-car event anytime that Kleba has been in it. We haven't really been able to see anybody who was able to challenge him, but you know, it's also been a long time since we've seen Vincent Arthur in the win circle.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen him in the podium. He's been struggling for the past, I think, 6 weeks or so. So this is the time of the year, these summer months, that some guys just kind of lose their groove and usually gain it back right before the playoffs. So I don't think it's time to sell the farm if you're a Vincent Arthur fan. Stick with him, you know, keep rooting him on, because he's going to get there eventually back into the podium.
Well, here's Arthur currently racing in 9th and scraping the wall a little bit, it sounds like to me. Could be a little foolery within iRacing, but allowing Eric Sable to stay around him there, and then Tom Senchek is just behind. He's looking for that position as well. So this is one of the tightest battles on the track. So it sounds like Senchek goes up there and scrapes the wall as well.
It's really easy to do here on the straightaway. You want to get as high as you can to get good entry into turn 1, and sometimes you get a little bit too high off of 4 and just kind of scrape the wall the whole way down the straightaway. I've been victim to it multiple times, getting into that wall going into turn 1. As we have a caution on the speedway, I have to see who that is.
Looks like Couch has had an issue. This will be interesting. I'm not entirely sure this was intended. Let's watch this one carefully here. As
looks like he was pulling into pit road almost, and whenever he got on the apron, it just went around. But it looked like he was slowing to get onto pit road.
Well, let's watch this one. It's possible he was, though. Once again, he was just on pit road not that long ago. He is trying to get onto pit road, but he's also coming in so fast, I'm not sure that he would have made it into the pits either.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there and why he was coming into pit road, but maybe trying to call it a night and just overstep the entry of pit road, maybe. But he has taken it behind the wall and is gone.
Well, Christian, everybody on pit road now. This is a very busy pit lane. It's a very small pit lane. And we've got Kleba on back. Literally every single driver is into the pits except for Gladelich. And I believe it's just Gladelich who wants to try to get a lap back.
I was just about to say, this is the time in the race that if you want to try 2 tires, it could work. And a lot of guys just took 2. Timmons, Norman, Bird, and Sable, I believe, all take 2. Senchek as well. Kleba going to be the first guy on 4 tires.
Well, just going by their pit times, they actually, none of them took tires. Timmons back to Senchek, all of them in the 5 and 6 second time in the box. Now I see Malone having an issue, stopping on the track. So perhaps going to end of line.
Well, I did see the right sides drop on Timmons. So Timmons did put 2 tires on. It's just a very quick 2-tire stop. These cars, 6 or 7 seconds for right side tires is doable, being that there's only 1 lug nut.
I have no idea how it's possible. I thought, well, it may just be a product of how much fuel had to go in, because I guess if you take right sides and do fuel, it's upwards at 10 seconds. But if you just take right side tires and a splash of fuel, knowing that the next stage caution is going to come out when it does, maybe that's when you can just get it done in like 5.9 seconds is what it shows on pit road.
I stand corrected. They did not take right side tires. It was fuel only. I just went back, rewound it, and watched, and it was the 25 that I saw the right sides drop and then blade pulled away.
Aha. Well, always learning new things out here, always trying to figure out what the other guys are doing. I promise you, if I was in this race, other guys would be getting those 6-second stops with 2 tires, 4 tires. Everybody's always got an advantage over me in these races. They always can figure out how to do things faster than me. They're getting down pit lane, an extra second faster. Their in and out laps are, a second faster or half a second faster than me. There's always stuff to learn, always strategies to employ. But Blake Timmons going to be restarting in the lead with Ronnie Norman in second, Ryan Bird in third, Eric Zabel in fourth, Tom Senchek moving up into that 5th spot for Late Apex Racing. So make that 2 Late Apex Racing drivers up there in the top 5. And then Kleba, first driver with 4 tires, he's going to be starting in 6th position. And, of course, right next to him is going to be Josh Conover. So this will be very interesting to watch these two come through the field. Conover got a good run back there, but nowhere to really go. Timmons, great job coming off the front. Here comes Conover, though, down 3 wide into turn number 1 as they continue to race side by side in front. That's Ryan Bird and Ronnie Norman just up in front. Now you see Conover entering that picture down low underneath Bird.
Yeah, for Conover, he knows he has 4 tires, and so does Kleba, so they can move through the field quick. He's just trying to do it quicker than Kleba. That way he can be the one that's out in front here.
Well, some stacking up a little bit further back as well, but side by side for second place and for third and fourth. So Conover with those fresh tires comes through, and Timmons all the way in the back here. I don't know what happened to Timmons. It seemed like he had a dropout. We'll watch this again. This was Ryan Bird, I believe. If we watch Timmons in front, he just goes away. I don't know what happened, and then we go back to this live picture, and here he is back here in 14th place. Christian, that's a weird one. I don't know that I've seen anything like that. He disappeared. Maybe he slowed down on the track, and when his internet connection came back, he was in 15th place.
Yeah, that's a new one for me too. I don't think I've ever recalled seeing that. But back up to the live picture now, we see Dustin Kleba underneath Eric Zabel here trying to take second place away as Josh Conover has taken the lead and has pulled away to a 7/10 of a second lead now.
Absolutely marched right on by Ryan Bird as we were investigating that incident. Conover now a huge lead as Kleba manages to solidly get by Zabel, and now the race is on back here for 4th place. Bird, kind of a sitting duck of sorts to Arthur, who now manages to get by, and here comes Cody Height getting by Bird as well.
Yeah, these guys who are passing him right now are guys who took 4 tires compared to him taking fuel only, so he is just dropping like a rock right now through the field. Next car that doesn't have tires is Norman, so you can see he's kind of plateaued right now in 8th and kind of evened out with everybody with those tires, so he's just going to ride around in 8th place which is about where he was running had he taken 4 tires. So the strategy kind of worked, I guess. We'll have to see how it works in the long run, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Over the long run, this is starting to look pretty devastating for these guys who didn't take any tires on that stop and gambled with track position. Right now, they're really suffering. So we'll see how badly this turns out for Ronnie Norman and gang, but they're quickly drifting back. Eric Sable, the one in the group right now, getting passed by Cody Height. Now he's going to go back by Height as Height misjudges the corner, and now Height is about to get passed by Christenberry. That's Christenberry now up into the top 5. Everett says PC blue screened at the start, and then he was planning on parking it and spun himself. So just as you called it, Christian, he was trying to get down onto pit road and park it, but unfortunately ended up not quite getting it stopped in time, and it spun him out and brought out the caution. But now Sable actually doing a really good job. If you compare him to the rest of these drivers who took no tires, he's still holding on up there in 4th, but now he's got 2 drivers behind him who do have the fresh tires, and it's probably only a matter of time until Height or Christenberry is going to be able to pull off a move and get by.
Yeah, but with them being behind Sable and pushing their cars as hard as they are, they're burning off their tires more than Sable is right now. So Sable, his tires are going to gradually go bad, but these guys with 4 tires, they're going to eat their tires alive right now. So what Sable's hoping for is these guys are going to race super hard, get their tires to where his tires are, and he'll be able to pull back away from them.
Well, this is the battle right now happening on your screen. This is for 4th place. Eric Sable, the JRC Sim team, in 4th place. 5th is Jake Christenberry for Prestige TRD, and 6th is Cody Height. You see Ryan Bird now coming back into this picture. Ronnie Norman is just behind that as well in 8th place. Brady Moats actually recovering now up into that 9th spot, so things starting to get a little bit better for Moats at Ready to Wreck Racing. But anything but the typical Brady Moats kind of night here, as we're used to seeing him up towards the top 5, but he's been running outside of the top 10 most of tonight. Now just getting into the top 10 into 9th place.
Well, I'm not sure how much he has healed from his knee injury, but if he still has that knee injury, this is one of those tracks that's really hard on the legs, because you got to brake. Well, we have 240 laps, so you're going to have to brake about 480 times here tonight.
Indeed, and then you got to throw practice in there and qualifying, etc. So not the easiest thing to do, this sim racing thing. Fortunately, if you get it wrong, unlike real racing, it's not going to end up in broken bones or anything along those lines. But a lot of people like Guileless, you know, for example, throwing out his, tweaking his back out in the yard, and as a result, you know, he can't really do much of anything. I imagine it's keeping him from doing a lot, maybe keeping him out of work, all kinds of stuff that can happen. So you got to keep yourself in good condition. I know a lot of the sim racers who do this professionally take this just about as seriously as real life racers do, and they work out and train and have coaches, and certainly take it very seriously. So it's quite a serious business, but right now this is serious business. Is Sable just about to be under attack here? The DoorDash man, Jake Christenberry, makes the delivery. He's now up into 4th.
Yeah, good run here tonight for the 23 of Jake Christenberry. Cody Height having a good run as well. He's going to look low here on Eric Sable. Sable going to kind of close the door there, though. Cody Height with another top 5 performance. Not surprised at all. This guy's always up here in the top 5. But up front, we see Kleba kind of shrinking that lead that Conover has. I saw that it was about 0.8 of a second a couple laps ago, now down to 0.6 of a second. So he is slowly reeling in Josh Conover there up at the front.
As we look up front, there it is. Looking back to from Conover back to Kleba. It is slowly shrinking. There on your screen, you can see how that time continues to just get whittled away. Still sitting at about 0.6 of a second right now. But drivers just really settling in over this long haul. There's if we stay green, we're going to be going until lap 138, which is our next stage break. So quite a lot of time for Kleba to chase down Conover. And Vincent Arthur now being in that 3rd spot. Once again, Arthur, doing what he needs to do to try to get more and more points. Of course, he would love to get back into victory lane, and as you said, he's just looking, honestly, to get back into podium territory. But he's got a regular season championship to think about, and certainly the end of this championship is, the end of this season is proving that, there's no guarantees when you get to the playoffs. So taking the regular season championship would be quite meaningful to Vincent, and obviously it would be to Ronnie as well. But yeah, there's no guarantees once you get into the playoffs. There could be some other things that other people have in mind. Here's Ronnie Norman battling it out with Blade Timmons. This is back in 12th place, and these two drivers, of course, are ones who did not take those tires, but Norman just continues to drop back, not having taken those tires, all the way back now into 13th place. And obviously that was not the right call, Christian.
Yeah, not the right call for stage points for stage 2, but what it's going to allow Norman to have is an extra set of tires in the pits versus all these other guys. So with these guys, I think having 2 sets of tires left, they'll take one at the end of stage 2 and then one in the middle of the final stage. But Ronnie, if there's a late caution, he can take that extra set of tires that he just saved and run through the field if he's got enough time. That's a couple of these drivers will be able to do that. I think Ryan Bird, the furthest up with those old tires, still in 6th place.
Well, Kleba right now trying to chip in on this lead. We'll see. It's maintaining almost exactly the same, 0.6 of a second. But that's what it's about. It's about just chipping away and trying to somehow get into this lead. Certainly Kleba wants to take all of the points possible. Look back here, this is Brandon Dunford racing side by side with Eric Sable, and just behind that's Jacob Malone. Dunford charges ahead. Still staying side by side, but it looks like Dunford gonna possibly clear him. Nope. Sable got a good run off the corner, but now things stack up a little bit. Really thought we were gonna have a collision between Malone and Sable there.
We did have a collision. It wasn't enough to spin either of them, but there was definitely contact between the 17 and the 1.
Back up front, Josh Conover, the regular season champion for the NORA Truck Series, now setting the pace here at Richmond, round number 25 of the NORA Cup Series. It's got Dustin Kleba about 0.6 of a second back. So we've got just about 31 laps remaining until we get to that. Actually, I take it back. It's 28 laps remaining until we get to that stage break. Looking back here, that's Vincent Arthur. He's managed to come forward 7 positions into that 3rd spot. And here's Jake Christenberry. Neither of these 2 cars that are around him are for position. He's kind of running in a little bubble. It's about 3.6 seconds up the track to Vincent Arthur, and about 1.3 seconds back here to Cody Height. Height sort of in a bubble himself, though here comes Ryan Bird, about 6/10 of a second himself, approaching now. And it looks like also up front, Conover's managed to stretch the lead just a little bit. A couple more tenths added on now, so we'll keep an eye on that. Brady Moats for Ready to Wreck Racing. He's back up into 7th position, and now this battle is happening right here. Brandon Dunford seems to be coming forward pretty quick. He's up 7 positions. By the way, Malone up 12 positions just behind him. I don't know that I mentioned it, but Jake Christenberry up 12 spots right now, up into that 4th position. And Robert Christenberry checking in. Also, we got Mr. Bartlett checking in as well. Both of them rooting on Jake Christenberry out here, who's given it his all for Prestige TRD.
I think the Ronnie Norman fan club has been replaced. I think the stands up in turn 2 are now renamed to the Christenberry fan club.
Indeed, it's pretty cool stuff. He's got like a whole section. They're all with their DoorDash gear up there, red and white colors and everything. Every time he goes by, they do the wave. Fun stuff here in the NORA Cup Series. And as you can see, yet again, Christian, a sold-out crowd here at Richmond Raceway. I mean, they got them standing in the aisles to watch on the NORA Cup Series, and just great of all these virtual fans to turn out once again in droves for the NORA Cup Series. Fun stuff, especially when everybody's so interested. And again, thanks for checking in over on YouTube, everybody. We certainly do appreciate it. A lot of fun when you let us know that you're out there, you're watching along, who you're rooting on. That's the main thing. Where are you watching from? I would love it if I knew that somebody was watching from another part of the world. Sometimes we get our international viewers in here checking it out. Always fun to see. You know who's really into NASCAR racing internationally, if you believe it? The Australians. They love it, especially with Shane Van Gisbergen getting his win, and now he's going to be coming full-time to NASCAR. So that's exciting stuff from the New Zealand driver, and certainly all of those folks down in Australia and New Zealand, very interested what goes on in open wheel and NASCAR racing over here in the United States.
Yeah, I was curious on why Justin Haley made the move that he did going over to Rick Ware Racing, but now it kind of makes sense after the interview with SVG. He said he's coming full-time next season if he's able to, so they opened that ride in the 31 car for Shane for next season.
Well, indeed, it's somebody's got to make some space, got to move around, certainly got to. It's musical chairs, certainly, and we're at that point of the season where we're seeing the musical chairs start to open up, the silly season for next season, and always fun to see where the drivers are going to end up. Here's a race that's happening right now. Ryan Bird trying to chase down Cody Height. This is for 5th position on track. He's now making that pass, and looks like he's going to be able to possibly take that position headed into turn 1.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Ryan Bird was one of those that stayed out on old tires. So
he is indeed.
He's now got those tires matched up with all the guys who took 4 tires and is able to pass them back. We see Sable doing the same thing with passing Jacob Malone just now, and Norman is still struggling. He's back there in 13th, but he has evened out with everybody else now.
Well, as we watch on, it looks like Bird has managed to move up into that 5th spot. And as we look all the way up here in the front, Conover and Kleba still battling it out, but a little over 7/10 of a second, the gap between them. And then, what I'm also seeing is that Arthur is getting very close to Kleba at this point. So the battle may be on between Arthur and Kleba, or perhaps all three of them, as we're getting pretty close to the end of stage number 2. So I'm not sure if we'll have time to see a shootout at the end of this stage, but it's starting to materialize if it is going to happen.
Yeah, Vincent Arthur and Kleba, these two, man, throughout the season, how many battles have we seen these two put on? I think most memorable, Darlington, when Kleba just absolutely full sent the corner and let the car slam the wall, and then Vincent turned him at the line. One of the most exciting finishes of the season for these two. So these two not unfamiliar with each other's bumpers.
Absolutely. And it would be phenomenal to see these two really go at it over the course of this race. Looking over in the YouTube chat room, Megan Beadle says, doing the wave here in turn 2. So truly getting into the act and really rooting on Kristen Berry. We would certainly appreciate that. Cody Reeder Music checking in. Mr. Cody Reeder. Surprised we're not seeing him out there racing tonight, but certainly Dustin trying to do his best out there for KPR Motorsports. But Cody Reeder saying Dustin is a real ladies' man. Dustin is a nice person. Dustin has never once called me a weirdo. And finally, Dustin once gave me his Coca-Cola at the Knoxville Nationals. So that is 4 facts about Dustin Kleba, according to his teammate Cody Reeder. As we now see,
spotter tonight, I believe, is now Vincent right on Kleba's bumper, gives him a little tap after he gets loose. He's going to look low and take that position away from Dustin Kleba.
Well, it was sizing. It was possibly going to happen. And part of the reason is it looks like Kleba is now sort of drifting back a little bit from Conover. And so Arthur able to hold pace a little bit better with Conover at the moment. Makes that pass happen and move him up there into 2nd place. As I mentioned, Arthur would absolutely love to not only take podium, again, with the difficulty here at Richmond, this would be a great track to be able to take a podium position at, but to take the win, that would be even more special. And again, we're not right next to the playoffs. We're going to be there very soon. Just a few more races to go until we're there, but this is the time when you want to shake off any of these ill effects of the mid part of the season. You go into, I don't like to use the S word, the SLUMP word, but you go into a really rough patch in the season for Vincent Arthur, and here he is running back in 2nd place. He's at a track too where it's not like one of these other bigger tracks where there's a lot of chances for somebody to take you out, etc. It just seems like things have been a little bit better here for drivers to be more respectful here at Richmond. So this is the type of track where maybe he's not going to have to fear that. And certainly if he goes up there and races Josh, which I don't know that he will, but Josh there to support, I'm sure, Vincent's bid at a championship, and I think Josh will race him pretty conservatively.
Wait, do you know who you're talking about? Do you know Josh Conover? No. He's going to race for this win, no matter what.
Well, I mean, again, Arthur racing for driver points and Conover racing for owner points, but you're absolutely right. This is Josh Conover after all, so we'll just have to watch and see. That's the beauty of letting these races play out. We might see Arthur up there challenging. He did get held up a little bit with having to make that pass on Kleba. So, looks like he'll be able to try to chip into that lead once again. Got a pole running here tonight. Looks like I misspelled Kleba's name. I apologize for that. But either way, who will win tonight's race? Will it be Dustin Kleba? Will it be Vincent Arthur? Will it be Josh Conover? Or will it be this guy, Jake Christenberry? I mean, it's a tough call. Could be any one of these guys. Right now, leading the votes is Dustin Kleba. So we'll see as we go along here whether or not that ends up being the right call. But Conover in the lead. Vincent Arthur now has this down to half a second. So, I mean, Conover may want to fight him hard, but at the same time, as we're just now getting to, I believe, the stage caution.
Yeah, they are slowing down for the caution.
There we go. There's the yellow. Indeed, Arthur got very close. But if we had just had another couple of laps, we might have seen some fireworks happen here. But either way, Arthur's got to be proud of that. He manages to take second. Your top five is going to be Conover, Arthur, Kleba, Christenberry, and Bird. And we're going to let these drivers regroup here. We're going to regroup ourselves, and we'll be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. You don't want to go anywhere. We're also going to try to get a chance to chat with somebody here in the booth. Stay tuned.
Now, though.
And welcome back on VirtualRacing.Network. Some interesting stuff happening. I believe Josh Conover, he got out of the pits first, but then he has now fallen to the back of the field with some sort of penalty. So we wait for official clarification on that. But Vincent Arthur has now taken over the lead of the race. So it's not as bad as it seems for Conover, who took the stage win there, but Vincent Arthur now going to be on his own to try to set the pace at the front.
Yeah, I believe it was a speeding penalty for Conover. That's the only thing that relatively makes sense, so unfortunate break there for Conover.
And we were going to chat with Josh Conover. Unfortunately, due to the penalty and him needing to drop to the back, we weren't able to make that happen. So we'll be looking to Guyless checking in over in YouTube saying it was a speeding penalty. So good call on that, Christian. And we've got about 98 laps to go here to the conclusion of this race. And what have we learned so far, Christian? Who do you think is the driver to beat out here?
I would have said Conover. But now with that penalty, he's going to have a lot of track position to make up. But it's going to be between Vincent and Kleba, I believe. But we do see a newcomer to the front here, Brady Moats. The first time he's been in the top 5 tonight, so see what he's able to do. And Eric Sable also now on the same tires as Kleba, Vincent, and Moats. So interesting to see what he might do now that he's in the same strategy with those 4 fresh tires.
Definitely some interesting stuff to see play out, of course. Still plenty of time for somebody like Conover to get back up there to the front. But he's got a long ways to go. In the meantime, Moats, another chance here as he's at the front. Sable back in position as well in 4th place. And we're underway here at Richmond. Arthur out to a good lead. Kleba now merges 2nd. And Brady Moats files into 3rd. Looks like Eric Sable going to try to take the position on the outside. No, he can't do it, so that's Bird up into 4th and Sable back here in 5th. Here comes Bird down to the inside of Brady Moats, trying to make this position. He can't quite squeeze it in there. He's going to try here on the back stretch, and he'll have to back out of it. Although Moats still leaving that door open. Now he shuts it. We see Christenberry trying to fight for position back here. He gets loose coming off the corner. There Senchek is on the outside. He's going to try to force his way in there and take that position as well. So a lot of side-by-side racing, and just up in front, this is Sable, who's managed to get by Bird, now up into that 4th spot.
Yeah, now Ryan Bird, you can see he blocked Cody Height from going to the low side, and now he's actually going to get a run on Sable on the inside of him. And then behind them, Senchek gets to the outside of Christenberry, so they're battling. And now Cody Height switches it up and goes up to the outside of Ryan Bird.
Height currently running up there in that 5th spot on the outside. Ryan Bird, you see Christenberry fighting it out with Senchek just behind. As these drivers swap it out there. Looks like Christenberry able to get through, but still side by side between Height and Bird. And now Christenberry with a problem. He's dropped back. He's had an issue. He had just made that pass. I think he waved to Megan Beadle up in the stands. And had a bit of an issue there, dropping down to the low side. Now he's right in front of Josh Conover in 12th.
Jacob Malone with an issue there in front of Christenberry, and now Christenberry and Conover are going to take advantage and pass Malone here. Malone trying to rebound from getting loose there off of turn 4. Conover still on to his inside. Blade Timmons now going to peek underneath Malone.
Conover able to get back in front. Again, this is for 11th place, so this is interesting stuff as Conover has to work his way all the way from the back here, coming forward at the moment. And that is still a tight battle going on, but back up front, Vincent Arthur having no issues. He's just about to start lap 152 of 240 on the night. Dustin Kleba up into 2nd place. You can see potential victory from there, but he's going to have to go through Vincent Arthur. And as I said before, if there's one guy who likes winning just as much as Kleba, it's certainly Vincent Arthur, and he has been sans victories for quite a while. Brady Moats now feels Eric Sable kind of breathing down his neck back there, but so does Cody Height, who's got Ryan Bird all over him. And I tell you, I watch Cody Height on YouTube streams, and man, that guy just does not get rattled. I mean, he's got ice in his veins. It's fun to watch him. If you just took like an isolated shot of him, you wouldn't even think he was necessarily racing in a NASCAR race. You'd think he was just practicing out there, but he is just Mr. Cool, calm, and collective out there on the track as he's racing. And certainly he's able to hold his own right now, currently running in that 5th spot with Ryan Bird just behind, and Tom Senchek, Ryan Bird's teammate. So they start to file into single file here as we get set for this long, potentially green flag run. Brady Moats in 3rd with Eric Sable still within reach. We look back here, here's some more potential side-by-side. That's Blade Timmons just behind Josh Conover. And also I'm seeing that perhaps Ronnie Norman is tracking down Brandon Dunford. This is 9th and 8th place.
Yeah, this is the time in the race that Ronnie Norman usually starts storming toward the front, as he is known as Stormin' Norman. He usually storms toward the front, and around this time of the race starts getting the fuel for the car, starts saving tires real good, and starts passing these guys left and right. But right now kind of struggling with that. He's sitting in 9th, still just trying to conserve tires for the late stage of the race, because I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I believe everyone will pit for 4 tires during this green flag run.
Well, and Tim Harper right now on pit road. So it looks like this is going to probably do it for Tim. We'll see whether or not he manages to make it back out there, but look back here. This is side-by-side, Senchek and Cody Height. Oh, Senchek gets sideways through the corner. Height making slight contact there. Senchek says, okay, well, maybe I'll rethink that maneuver. Pulls back in behind Height.
Yeah, and this has allowed Dunford and Norman to catch up to those two, so it's now a 4-car battle here for the 6th position. And now you can see Conover coming into the screen too, so he's coming up into this. So you got from Brady Moats the whole way back to Blade Timmons, kind of all right there in a row.
Brady Moats side by side here with Ryan Bird for 4th place. This is a tight battle happening on track as neither one of these drivers wants to give up that spot. Here comes Bird forward and manages to take that position from Moats. Moats, of course, restarted in 3rd place and now is back into 5th. So one of those drivers that you don't necessarily want to count out of a race, because certainly knows how to get it done at the front end of one of these fields, but right now starting to fall off after managing to get that track position with that pit stop exchange. And now Ronnie Norman, who's up into 8th place, having a side-by-side battle with Brandon Dunford as well. And that's Josh Conover right behind, trying to peek his nose in there as well.
Yeah, that's what I was about to mention. With Norman and Dunford being side-by-side, it allowed Conover to get up behind Norman, and now he'll try to take advantage of the pass here on Dunford as well. And Blade Timmons should be able to follow Conover as well. And, you know, one slip-up, and you could lose 3 positions here, and this is what's going to happen here to Dunford.
So Conover now taking a look at Dunford. He's going to try to slide underneath the 20 car, and he'll do it. And now here comes Blade Timmons trying to get around. Just trying to freight train that number 20, and Timmons right now starting to actually Dunford starting to feel it as he's now drifted several positions back, but now contact made and the yellow flag is out. All went wrong with that pass with Blade Timmons. What happened there, Christian?
From the looks of it, I think Timmons just missed the corner and kind of came up more than Dunford was expecting, but we'll have to take a look from overhead here. As we come off of turn 4 here, you can see Timmons drifting up the track, and then as we go into the corner here, it looks like, yeah, Timmons just was going to enter right on his door almost. I don't know what Timmons was doing.
We'll have to.
He just missed the corner.
It's pretty interesting. Maybe Timmons got caught up in something else. As now we're seeing pit stops happening while we're looking in on this one. But this is from on board with Timmons trying to make this pass. Certainly knows he's there. He just, I don't know. Did he think he was clear and he wasn't clear? I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I mean, even entering that high into the corner, he wasn't going to make it. So I don't know if maybe he just was focusing on the right side of the car and wasn't really looking forward. Because once he got on the brakes, it almost drifted up the track.
Well,
and change for the lead, Dustin Kleba.
Indeed. He gets it done on pit road. I don't know if he short-filled a tiny bit, but he was in his box for 15:02. I think Arthur just had a longer time on pit road, as he's showing a 48:35 to Dustin Kleba's 47:05. So just a longer pit road time for some reason. As we're also seeing that Malone may have had a moment. I'm not sure if he just pulled down the track, got out of people's way. Let's check this out. This, of course, under the caution. He just pulls down and lets some other drivers go by, I believe. So we pull it back to the live
another
picture.
Speeding penalty.
Oh, I see. So with that, we're going to take a momentary break. We will be right back here on VirtualRacing.Network. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back here, VirtualRacing.Network. Dustin Kleba going to lead us back to the green flag at Richmond. And we are green here once again at Richmond Raceway. Here comes Dustin Kleba into turn one and some real action. This is a big wreck. Both of the late Apex teammates are involved. Multiple cars. They're still wrecking, Christian.
Oh, man. I think we just saw some ARCA brake situations there. Some people not aware that there was a wreck just piled into that one after it was already done. My goodness.
Well, I know that Ryan Bird was in the middle of this one, so let's take a look from his standpoint what we can see here. Coming back to green. There he is in the purple, and oh, it's Cody Height, who I think gets tagged from Senchek. And
yeah, you can see, sorry to interrupt, Moats kind of hit the brakes early for that corner, and it caused Cody to check up, and Senchek was just too close and unaware that Cody Height was going to hit the brakes and just absolutely smashed the rear end of Cody Height into his teammate Ryan Bird. And then it just went on from there, as immediately, as soon as Ryan Bird hit that wall, both front tires broke.
Wow. Yes, and he is on pit road right now, and I don't know if he'll get back off of pit road. That's just how quickly things can go from bad to worse here. Let's watch on board with Senchek. This is what he saw coming to the green flag.
Yeah, you can see, you can't really see the car in front of Cody Height through that rear window. It's a little bit too high up. So Senchek was completely unaware that he had a car directly in front of him. The only way you would be able to tell that is if you had a live spotter saying, you know, there's a check up in front of you, check up. The computer-generated spotter just not that smart to be able to call that. So you can see just Cody, nothing he could do with the rear tires lifted off the ground here, and then cars just keep piling in. I think that was Blade Timmons. Just kind of overdrove into the wreck here.
Well, they had all kind of really hung back on that start. And so you would think he would have had enough time to try to avoid, but just really fast into the corner. I don't think he realized it had come down quite that much, and I think he may have all that forward.
Yeah, there was another situation there too, because he elected the outside lane, and he was obviously on the inside there, so he changed lanes before the start-finish line. So yeah, you can see the wreck happening up high, so we're going to go low here, and then just you can see that sudden boost of speed he gets run into from behind.
Well, a lot of cars involved in this one. I'll have to bring it back here to the live picture. And, you know, we were talking about Josh Conover slipping back into the field. How about he's now back up into 5th with that wreck? Ronnie Norman's in 6th. Jake Christenberry there in 7th. Adam Kulikowski up into 8th place. Chad Engel, here's a guy we haven't been talking about at all tonight. He's out there with the 88 Tracker boats. And Engel, his parents, I believe, run the Sandwich Company. I can't remember.
Sandwich Man Racing Memorabilia.
There you go. Sandwich Man Racing Memorabilia. And Chad now up into the top 10. So having a decent run for himself. Dunford's been caught up in a couple of different incidents here tonight. So rough going for him. Tom Senchek caught up in that last one, of course, getting into the back of Cody Height. And we're just about to go back to green here with Dustin Kleba ahead of Vincent Arthur. And now they're trying to sort it out just behind. There comes Eric Sable down to the low side on Arthur with Conover in tow. Brady Moats on the high side. Conover switches the high lane. Sable going to try that low line against Arthur again. No go. Oh, Sable gets sideways. That allows Conover to get up along the high side. Now these two racing it out for 3rd spot. See a side-by-side battle happening behind between Moats and, Christenberry and Norman as well. Moats right in the middle of this one. Trying to figure out, does he want the high side? Does he want the low side?
Oh, 3 wide behind them. Jacob Malone up to the outside of Christenberry. He drove it deep into the corner. That's going to allow Norman to get by Christenberry. And Malone backed out of it there last second, but they were 3 wide entering the corner.
Well, Sable, meanwhile, able to get in front of Conover. Moats behind. And that time, Ronnie Norman setting the fastest sector 2 time of the race. I don't usually see the fastest sectors or lap times in Ronnie Norman's favor, but looks like he's starting to feel it as Conover gets loose.
He's going to gather it back up in front of Christenberry here, but going to lose two positions there to Moats and Norman.
Ronnie Norman able to get up into that 5th spot as Moats now in 4th, Sable in 3rd, and up in front. Kleba doing what he does best, leading the race. He's got 57 laps remaining in this one until he can see the checkered flag. But Vincent Arthur holding on here in 2nd place, with Eric Sable slowly approaching for that 2nd place. We'll see whether or not he can get there. There's Brady Moats in 4th. Ronnie Norman has arrived in 5th. We'll see whether he can mount a charge at Moats, who's been pretty susceptible back here. We've got one spinning around. That's Chad Engel.
That's Engel.
There he is. He's collected it back up. No yellow flag. You can see there's a battle happening just behind, but I don't believe that's for position. It's Anthony Mackie, who was caught up in that last incident. Back up front, though, Kleba up to a full 2nd lead over Arthur, and now Arthur has company. This is Eric Sable, who is ready to try to make this pass happen, and now we've got some more side-by-side here. This is Conover and Norman. Actually, Conover and Moats trying to battle for position for 5th. You can see just behind also Malone trying to look on Christenberry. Now Christenberry might be sizing up Moats as well. Josh Curry comes down into the pits at the moment. And now this one starts to space apart a little bit more. A little bit of breathing room for these drivers. Back up here at Vincent Arthur in 2nd place. He's 0.3 of a second back to Eric Sable. Ronnie Norman further 0.8 of a second back. And then you've got Josh Conover, who's managed to open up a little bit of time on Brady Moats, who now has a lot of DoorDash that has arrived at his rear deck lid.
It's Taco Tuesday, so it could be tacos being delivered. I think this is actually the track that Michael Waltrip dropped tacos on somebody's car, so not surprising.
Indeed. Where are your favorite tacos from, Christian?
Someplace that isn't known for tacos, Sheets.
Sheets.
Yeah.
I don't even know that place.
That's a local gas station around my area. They have their own restaurant, and it's, oh man, so good to eat from.
Okay, I'll have to take your word for it, because when you say gas station tacos, I'm thinking you got to watch out for that. You might follow it with a shot of whiskey just to make sure everything goes down okay. But no, I hear you. Sometimes the funniest things, it reminds me of this sushi place that was inside of a Korean market, and it was such a hole in the wall, but I tell you what, it was inexpensive but the absolute best. And it was so funny to go into this Korean market, and they were lined up inside like 10 deep to go to this sushi place. So you just never know where you're going to find the ultimate little restaurants.
That's in Florida, right?
Well, that place was actually in Southern California, in Torrance, California.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, out here in Florida, it's a lot of chain restaurants. It is fun to find the little actual, like independently owned restaurants. A lot of chains out here, though.
I'm trying to think of what you could best describe Sheets as. I don't know if your area has Wawas at all, or Rudders. As we see a battle for second, Sable gets into Vincent Arthur. Sorry to interrupt my talk about food, but we have a race going on here. So Sable gets into Vincent Arthur there a little bit. Maybe a little message to him like, hey, I want to get going.
Yeah, I think he's seeing Ronnie Norman approaching very slowly. Pretty soon Norman is going to be there to come knocking on that third place door looking for that position. Sable had to send it, but there wasn't anywhere to go. Arthur doing a pretty fine job of defending that second place. Tim Harper leaving the pit lane. I guess he's been in the pits for quite a long time. I don't see when he came into the pits, but he is just now leaving, so he's going to try to make up some laps out there.
Yeah, he's going to try to make up some laps on Ryan Bird and Blade Timmons, who are both out of this race, so he can theoretically get enough laps done to pass them and get some points for that number 12 car.
Guyless chiming in over in YouTube land says, Brandon, the Florida man, Dunford. Certainly. No, I'm sure if there's... I did have some good tacos at a place called Tacos Way somewhere up the road. And then over in the Northwest, you've got Taco Time. Love that place. It's just it's a great chain up in the Northwest. But Nick Guyless saying Taco Gate was Texas, and it was Denny's car.
Ah, it was Texas. That is right.
I don't know what kind of tacos they got in Richmond.
Probably not good ones. I think Richmond. When I was there, I think they were known for their pizza at the track, and I think their hot dogs as well. Kind of similar to Martinsville. Their hot dogs and pizza were phenomenal when I went there in real life.
Oh man, we could fill an entire broadcast just talking about track food.
Yeah, we need a podcast or something, track food. I don't know. I'm not good with naming stuff, but talking about racetrack and their food.
Absolutely.
Sign me up.
Absolutely. I know quite a few drivers who would love to chime in with that as well. But here we go. We're seeing Vincent Arthur holding off Eric Sable for that second position. Here comes Ronnie Norman. They're working through some lap traffic at the moment. Ronnie Norman doing a fabulous job in fourth place. Josh Conover kind of settling in there in fifth, with Brady Moats now back to sixth. And there you've got Jake Christenberry in seventh. So this is quickly starting to size up here for the end of this race. 38 laps to go, as we've got a side-by-side battle happening back here for 12th. This is Engel and Dunford.
Engel rebounding pretty well from his near spin, coming back to 12th place. It's really nice to see whenever Engel gets into the top 10, and recently he just had a child come into the world, so congrats to him on bringing a kid into the world. So yeah.
So yes, indeed. Congratulations to Chad, and he's certainly fulfilling all kinds of different duties. Not necessarily getting to get as much sim time in, but we always appreciate it when he can make it out here for the NORA races, and certainly as things start to settle down, we hope to be able to see him out here for more of the races. But
you think when he got loose, maybe his wife was yelling at him to grab the diapers?
It's possible, but I tell you what, we got one happening right now in second place. This is Arthur, who has a handful of, he's got as much Sable as he can handle here in second place. Sable down on the low side, and I don't know who's going to walk away with this position. They continue side by side. Still side by side, and this position is not decided yet.
I tell you who's liking this. There's two people that are liking seeing this. Dustin Kleba and Ronnie Norman. They are both enjoying these two being side by side, because it is allowing Norman to catch up to this battle now, and it's allowing Kleba to just pull away even more now.
Well, I think this is going to do it here for Sable. He manages to take that position finally. Though Arthur now makes that lunge again. Sable pushed a little bit too hard into the corner. Arthur able to get a run, but he's going to have to, he gets clear. And now Arthur drags back off of Sable. Is that going to give Ronnie Norman a chance to get in there as well?
That was a very bold move by Eric Sable. He kind of cut him off going into turn 3 and caused Vincent to get on the brakes a little more than he wanted and drift up the track, and that allowed Ronnie Norman now to catch up to the back bumper of Vincent Arthur, trying to get a drink of that Red Bull. Although Ronnie Norman, I understand, prefers NOS energy to Red Bull, so I think he's going to drink NOS as he passes the Red Bull car.
It's true, you got to keep all of those sponsors straight on these cars and who prefers what. I remember the day when they used to just put the beer cans up on the hood and call it done. But Ronnie Norman in fourth, now possibly going to have a shot at his teammate and championship competitor Vincent Arthur. We'll see whether or not that materializes, and also see whether Sable can do anything with this Dustin Kleba lead. Looking over here into the YouTube chat room, Nick Geilis wants to know, do crab tacos, I don't know, close enough to Maryland? Sure, crab tacos count. I've never had crab tacos. That sounds interesting.
I've had fish tacos.
Exactly.
Never
Fish
crab
tacos. Fish tacos, shrimp tacos, lobster, beef, steak, chicken, all of those, but
I feel like crab tacos would be good. I do like crab.
I do too, but just leave it to the Maryland people to make stuff out of crab, you know? It's like,
we'll have to ask Josh. He lives in Jersey. That's close enough to Maryland. Maybe he has some crab tacos in his day.
I wonder what they have in Jersey. So Kristen Berry leading the poll with 45% of the vote. Appreciate everybody voting here tonight. Getting 11 votes. Getting a nice solid turnout for our voting. Kleba getting the same amount of votes as Arthur. Conover getting no votes.
Ouch.
So, indeed. But
the disrespect. Not even I voted for him, I tell you that.
Well, I mean, this is the NORA Truck Series regular season champion, Josh Conover, we're talking about, and he is sitting in 5th place. He's right there. But he is 5.45 seconds back from Dustin Kleba. Unless we get a yellow flag right now, we've got 24 laps remaining. And I don't think Conover, Norman, or Arthur are probably going to be able to catch him. Guyla says, listen, you ain't lived till you had fried gator tail while eating at a dockside restaurant of the Gulf of Mexico at sunset. Hey, I agree with you. We eat gator down here all the time. You can get it at the restaurants. But you know, you ain't really lived until you gone out there, got yourself a gator yourself, Guylis.
Nope.
So,
not happening for me.
Come on down here. We'll all get a gator boat and go out there. We'll send Christian out. He'll be the one who puts the noose around the gator, and
nope.
We'll just sit back and let it happen.
I'm good. You guys have your Florida man fun.
Oh my goodness. We'll get Brandon Dunford out here. Either way, this one we're just coming close to the 20 to go here, as Dustin Kleba has emerged as the man who is unstoppable. It seems to be a familiar thing that we say here on VirtualRacing.Network, but you know, he's taken the stage. He's taken now the most laps led. Is he going to take the race victory? He's about 2 seconds in front of Eric Sable, who's given a great run of it tonight. But certainly, you know, he's matching the pace, but he hasn't been able to chip into that lead. And
I disagree. He just dropped it from 2 seconds down to 1.8 seconds. He is chipping away.
well, we'll watch and see whether or not that can continue. When I was looking, he was running exactly the same time, but you're right. Last time he was 23:59 to Kleba's 23:78, and you know what? We're just under 20 laps to go, so that means it's the 20 laps. It's the 20 to go segment, sponsored by Snyder Graphics. Facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. If you want an awesome looking paint scheme, there's no place else to go. It's Facebook.com/Snyder Graphics. He'll work on your NASCAR Next Gen Cup car. He'll work on your truck. Shoot, if you like him and you talk to him nice enough, he'll probably even work on your super late model car. There's a lot of things that they can do over there at Snyder Graphics, and he'll get you the best looking paint scheme that you can stand. So
If iRacing had a go-kart, I'd make a go-kart for you too, but you know they don't. So, but
they got
man,
silver
if
crown
you look
cars.
at this, if you look at this lead, it's already down to 1.2. Eric Sable is just blazing fast right now, catching up to Kleba. He's about 0.2 of a second a lap quicker than Kleba right now.
Well, we take a look right now at this battle that's happening, and we'll then get up there to that battle because that is coming here momentarily. But Senchek and Christenberry having a tight battle. Christenberry hanging on to 7th, and Christenberry has, Senchek has been chasing him, and now here comes Senchek down the inside of Christenberry. And remember, Senchek, one of those drivers, is they're now getting under the lap car of Cody Height. Senchek, one of those drivers who does need to get some good finishes here in the NORA Cup Series towards the end of this season if he wants to get enough points to get up into the playoffs. But as we look up here in front, Christian, you're right. It's down to about 0.8 of a second between these two, and let's see if we can tell what Sable's doing that's so special.
He's going to catch him. It's just a matter of if he can get past him. As we see a puff of smoke come from Kleba, he locks up the tires going into turn 1, so he is driving as hard as he can.
Oh,
he gets loose.
He gets loose coming off the corner. Has he finally cooked these tires?
He may have. Man, that's the first time I've seen him get that loose. You can see he's almost got the wheel turned right coming off the corner, so he is struggling with this car right now, and Eric Sable just riding nice and smooth behind him. Gonna try to take advantage. Look how much he's turning to the right on the exit of the corner.
I tell you, it looked a little loose on entry. I mean, he's putting a little bit of right lock on each one of these exits, but last time by, when he went into turn 1, he had some right correction. See, there he is. He's a little bit of right correction in the braking zone.
We need to go to another camera because Sable is there. If you look up in that little mirror, he's there. Here he goes, trying to make a move underneath. Kleba blocks it. He tags him. He moves him.
They race side by side here, and Sable
more
makes
contact.
contact as Kleba is just dying on those tires out there. In fact, Vincent Arthur may go sailing by here in a moment. So Sable, I mean, he was looking unstoppable, but did he just reach a breaking point with those tires? It's a good question. I mean, is there a breaking point?
I think you mean Kleba was looking unstoppable, but yeah, I think he has reached that limit on tires because he got super loose out of 4, trying to keep in the throttle, and then came down and kind of made contact with Sable, just trying anything he can to try to stay even with Sable, but Sable just gone now. As soon as he got by Kleba, he has pulled away, and now Vincent Arthur looking low on Kleba as well, and will easily pass him.
Well,
So Kleba with many issues right now.
I mean, this has gone from being a awesome event to being barely hanging on to the podium position for Kleba. We're now under 10 laps to go, and Kleba is still starting to fade. I mean, next up will be Ronnie Norman, who might be able to make a run at this one and get up there onto the podium, and that'd be phenomenal for Norman, who really hasn't been up in the top 3 all night. But he could manage to hold on here with Kleba's troubles, he may actually end up on this podium.
You know, something I find interesting whenever we were going through the lineup in the beginning of the night, I said that Eric Sable would be one to watch tonight for a possible win, and every time that I go into a race and I say, you know, I think you got to keep an eye on that Eric Sable for the win, he ends up going out and winning. So, you know, looking at the FanDuel car, maybe I need to start making some FanDuel bets on NORA here.
Well, trust me, if it's anything like my luck, once you start actually betting, you'll find those good luck charms will go away. And you'll start making the wrong call. But you feel free to do whatever you want with your money. I learned a long time ago I don't belong in betting.
Yeah, the wrong call that I made 2 weeks ago, I bet on Chris Buescher to win, and he didn't. And then I didn't bet on him this week, and he comes out and wins.
Yeah, that sounds about like me in Vegas at the sports book. Here's
But
Eric.
5 to go here.
I mean, 5 to go. Eric Sable, you know, he passed Vincent Arthur. We thought, okay, well, he's still going to have to get by Kleba. With that, he's gone from 3rd to 1st in the span of the last 20 laps. This is some phenomenal stuff here. Sable filling in tonight at the JRC Sim team and doing an absolutely bang-up job. And this is what we have come to know from Sable. He's one of these extremely talented drivers that when he connects with the car on the track, he is able to absolutely dial it in, and more often than not, he ends up in the top 3 tonight, potentially going to take victory. He's only got to get through 3 more laps. He does have quite a gaggle in front of him of lap cars all jockeying for position. So now he's got to try to get around here. This could get quite tight. So it looks like one of those cars dives up the track there to get out of the way. Still got to clear several others. They're making contact in front of him. And he manages to just clear. That's Anthony Mackie. Next up will be Chad Engel, I believe. No, I take it back. It's the 53 of Justin Moody. So he manages to get through those cars. And now we're on that white flag lap. That means just one more half a lap here for Eric Sable to hang on, and he will take victory. This has been one heck of a run for Sable. It's unbelievable. But he's managed to do it. He pulls off victory here in the NORA Cup Series at Richmond.
Yeah, Eric Sable able to get the win. Vincent Arthur second. Dustin Kleba able to hold on for third over Ronnie Norman and Josh Conover. Brady Moten 6th. Senchek 7th. Kristenberry 8th. Malone 9th. And Kolakowski comes back for a top 10 here tonight.
What an amazing run for Eric Sable as he pulls it down near the grass, and he's going to start the party. He burns it down here at Richmond, and we're going to step aside for just a moment, get our final results up here on the screen, and we'll get a chance to chat with our top 3 here in the NORA Cup Victory Circle discussion. We'll be right back. And welcome back here on VirtualRacing.Network. There you see on screen your finishing order. It's official. Eric Sable comes from third to first with the downfall of Dustin Kleba. Manages to do it in the last 20 laps. And congratulations to Eric Sable taking victory as he was just filling in here tonight at the JRC Sim team. Second place going to Vincent Arthur, who once again he managed to get up there on the podium, but does not manage to get back in that winner's column. I know he fought hard to do so here tonight, but gonna have to settle for second. Third place to Dustin Kleba, fourth to Ronnie Norman, and once again, Vincent Arthur, Ronnie Norman in that battle for the regular season championship, so Arthur will pull out a few points on Norman here tonight. Josh Conover in fifth place, sixth going to Brady Motes, seventh to Tom Senchek, eighth Jake Christenberry, ninth Jacob Malone, 10th Adam Kulikowski, 11th Chad Engel, 12th Anthony Mackey, 13th Brandon Dunford, 14th Cody Height, 15th Josh Curry, 16th Jacob Gladelich, 17th Justin Moody, 18th Timmy Harper. And to round it out, we've got Ryan Bird in 19th, Blake Timmons in 20th, Everett Couts in 21st, Matthew George in 22nd, and Nick Eilis pretty much starting and parking and ending up there in 23rd. And so I think we're going to have a chance to chat with our top three. And Christian, let's see here. I think we've got Dustin Kleba up first. So Dustin, congratulations on managing to bring home third place. I know it's not much compared to where you were running and your dominance here tonight, but still to hold on and get a podium, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. I guess it's a good thing to be disappointed with third, but yeah, it is what it is. I had short run speed, but long run speed just couldn't compete with basically the entire field. I don't know what I was doing wrong, but I was just eating tires alive and couldn't hang on, which usually isn't my forte, but usually I'm better on long run. But is what it is. Eric deserves the win. He kicked everyone's butt. I mean, Vincent was kicking everyone's butt as usual, and Blade was up there, and Josh too. They all had good runs.
They all had good runs. Talk us through what took place there at the end. You seemed practically unstoppable, and then it was, then you were stoppable. So we saw you getting loose. Did you just eat up too much of those tires? Was there something else you could have done? What really went down there in the number 16 machine?
Yeah, I knew I was terrible on long run, so I tried to take advantage of Vincent and Eric being side by side there for a long time. Tried to get out as far as I could. I knew they were going to run me down, so I just tried to build as much of a gap as I could, and I was about 10 laps short. But yeah, it was only thing I could have used was about 10% more tire. But yeah, they did a good job of saving while also being fast and being able to catch me. And yeah, I was just hanging on at the end, and I got into Eric there at the end, but wasn't trying to, just hanging on for dear life and tried to slow him up. And then I just let Vincent go, hoping that he could catch him, slow them both down, and maybe something crazy would happen and caution might come out and I could catch them both. But didn't happen, and we'll take third.
Well, good run out there tonight. You were saying your teammate to help you out, but anybody you'd like to thank before we move on with the broadcast?
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone out there watching. I know my family watches every week. Thanks to you guys for putting on a great broadcast every single week, twice a week. And just thank Josh and everyone else that puts this league on to help me have a good time.
Absolutely. Congratulations on third, and you continue your streak of top finishes here in the NORA series. Congratulations. We'll see you next week, my friend.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So, Christian, I think you've had a chance to catch up with Vincent Arthur there in second place.
Yeah, we're going to pull Vincent Arthur here aside after he gets out of the car. Vincent, you finished second. Obviously not the position you want. I'm sure you wanted to win here tonight, but at least it's somebody associated with your team that's able to get the win. So tell us about your race and and how you were able to get up here and finish second after starting, I believe, 10th tonight.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Eric. Really happy for him to get this win. Flyline or JRC, same kind of team. Happy that one of my teammates was able to get the win. He really deserved it. He drove the wheels off that thing tonight. You know what? Second place, you know, it feels like a win. You know, I had speed all night. It was just a solid run. You know, there was a lot of good competition. I felt like we were able to just keep our head down and grind away, kind of stay in the top 5 all night. You know, lead some laps there at the beginning of stage 3. I felt like I had a really good long run car. It was just, man, the difference between dirty air and clean air was a lot more than I was expecting it to be for a short track. So, yeah, I think that caution there with probably around 70 to go screwed us a little bit. I think we would have been all right if we were able to make it to the green flag stops or just keep the lead. So yeah, I mean, it was an up and down night. Overall, just a really solid performance all around. I think we just performed the way that, you know, we should be performing. We've had a wonderful season up until this point, but you know, we've had a lot of bad luck and bad runs here recently. So to just have a nice solid podium night, you know, that's a win to me.
Yeah, me and Trevor were talking about it. He didn't want to say the word, but he was talking about that you were kind of in a slump the past couple of weeks, and to get a podium, it kind of gets you out of it. And you know, you got a lot of good tracks coming up for you. You're really good at road courses, so you got 2 of those coming up, Watkins Glen and Indy. So what do you have circled here for getting back in victory lane within the next few weeks?
So I think every track from here until the playoffs I have circled. I mean, obviously the road courses, I'm a pretty decent road racer, so those are always ones that I look forward to. But historically, I've always had a lot of success and a lot of really good runs in Michigan for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's not a track that I particularly enjoy driving, but it just seems like we always have a lot of speed there. So it'll be pretty interesting. And yeah, I mean, I've definitely been in a slump, and you know, to come out here and have, you know, 5 laps of practice, I threw my rig up about 20 minutes before the race started, so barely got in here and had about 5 to 10 laps and just kind of went out and did the best I can. So to even have this solid of a race with very little practice, and this was a tough car to drive, so you know, that's a big confidence booster, especially going into you know, some of the tracks that I have more confidence with just out of the gate. And then there's always Daytona, which the Flatline team and we always seem to really have our stuff together on the play track. So I think if we get linked up there, then we might be able to get another win. So a lot of good tracks coming up for us, which is good because you need momentum leading into the playoffs, and you know, just extended my points gap on Ronnie tonight. So trying to make sure I finish as the regular season champion. There's a lot of playoff points to go around, and yeah, just try to finish out as strong as I can.
And last time that we were at a track sort of like Michigan, it was Auto Club, and the 3 Flatline guys finished 1, 2, 3. So you guys probably going to have a phenomenal run at Michigan, but again, congrats here tonight on the 2nd place. Trevor, you got anything to add before we send Vincent on his way here?
No, not at all. Check your DMs. I did send you one, but Vincent, heck of a run, man. Great to see you back up here on the podium, and certainly it's a good chance to reset and look at the rest of this season and start getting ready for those playoffs.
Yeah, it's nice to be back up here talking to you guys, and I got your message. I'm just checking my schedule to make sure everything's good to go, and then I'll let you know. But yeah, no, it's nice to be back up on the podium and actually get to talk to you guys, and yeah, hopefully we do this more often here soon.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. Congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, guys.
So that is Vincent Arthur, and Christian, nice job doing the interview there. And I think now we've been able to catch up. It's Eric Sable, who has so much to celebrate out there tonight, making a couple of very difficult passes in the last 10 laps, but more than anything, just hanging on to those tires. And Eric now joining us here in post-race discussion in the NORA Cup Series victory circle. You got the confetti still stuck to your hair, and champagne going to be flowing here very soon. But Eric, congratulations on taking that win in a stylish fashion.
Oh man, this win probably means more to me than just about anything over the last couple of days of my life. It's really, I have no words really to say. I burned them tires right down to the ground, blew the motor up. You know, everybody on this JRC sim team and Flatline Motorsports and just everybody involved, you know, these last 2 nights have really helped me, you know, keep my mind off some things, and this win means the absolute world to me. It's just, honestly, I didn't think I was going to win coming into tonight, and, you know, I took care of my tires, I ran the car the right way, and I was able to come out on top here.
Well, that was, you know, you were in 3rd place. We thought it's amazing, but I don't know if we're going to see Eric get a chance. We don't know if Vincent's going to get a chance to chase down Kleba, and then everything just started to work in your favor. You chased down Arthur. You managed to make that pass on him, and then you were chipping into Kleba's lead, and then all of a sudden Kleba had that issue out there. What do you think was the difference maker? How were you able to hold on to your tires and Kleba wasn't? And certainly, how were you able to chip into those leads there at the end of the race?
Honestly, all night long, you just saw it where the leader had such a competitive advantage just because of the aero of this car. It's so hard to pass, and honestly, I saw him. I was getting into turn 1 way better than Kleba was, and I'm like, I don't know if he's just messing up or he's just holding back and gonna, you know, shoot away like a rocket ship when I got close to him. But he burned his stuff up. I ran the car the same exact way throughout all the stages and whatnot, so I just did it the right way. I got past, you know, Vincent. We had a good battle there, and yeah, I guess I just took care of my tires, you know, at the right place at the right time, and I was able to pull off the pass. And man, it just feels great to be in victory lane against all these guys. It's so competitive out here, and it's just awesome.
Well, and it's just also phenomenal that you were able to get the call to sit in here tonight. Is this something in the future that we can look forward to you running here in NORA Cup and racing it out amongst all of these top drivers?
You know, I love racing in the Trut Series. You know, the group of guys that we have are fantastic, and, you know, just being out here tonight with all the Flatline Motorsports and JRC Sim Team guys, it's been honestly a great time. So anybody watching, you know, if you really want to get into a great league, NORA is the place to be. Absolutely. You know, so I definitely want to be back, you know, running against these guys. I'd love to be here every week, but I'm sure you guys will see me a lot, you know, be around a little bit more for the Cup Series.
Well, that would be awesome, and certainly, you know, we welcome it. As you know, we've got some amazing talents here. Of course, Kleba, Arthur, Norman, Conover. I mean, the list goes on and on. Tom Senchek, Ryan Bird, all these drivers that you know, are practically unstoppable forces when they feel it with their cars. But here tonight, you managed to make it look easy to beat them all, and you did it really in fashion. You did it in the number 1 car, and you did it with one of the best teams here in the NORA Cup Series. Who'd you like to thank for tonight's race before we close this one out?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank, you know, VirtualRacing.Network. Like I always say, you guys do a fantastic broadcast. You guys keep up the good work with commentating, giving all the great information to the viewers out there. Everybody on the JRC Sim team, Flatline Motorsports, week in and week out, we do a great job, you know, trying to get into victory lane, doing good finishes, racing clean. So there's a great group of guys around here, and, you know, hopefully we can put these cars in winner's circle a little bit more throughout the season.
Absolutely. It was stunning to watch. Eric, a fantastic win, and what a way to step into the NORA Cup Series, and we'll look forward to watching you continue to battle with these top talents here as you head forward. Good luck next week at Michigan, should you be running here.
Thank you very much, man. You guys have a good night, all right?
you as well. And of course, we always appreciate these kind of comments from the drivers and everybody out there, and certainly appreciate everybody over on YouTube for joining us. Christian, always, we get so many compliments, and it's always so nice to hear that everybody enjoys watching these races. Of course, if anybody out there is not already subscribed, and we have a lot of people who watch these races and you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button and go ahead and click on the like if you don't mind. It helps to share it with the whole YouTube algorithm thing and everything else. But Christian, this was an interesting one. It's the third night in a row we were here at Richmond Raceway. We thought we had seen it all, but the end of this one, you couldn't have predicted it. Eric Sable coming through with the win from 2 positions back with 20 to go. What do you got to say about this one as we close out this week at Richmond?
I mean, I predicted it coming into the night. I saw Eric Sable was running a cup race, and I was like, oh boy, he's going to be problems. I think he's going to be a threat to win, and sure enough, he comes out here and wins, and this one means a lot to him. We've all had those races when you're kind of down in the dumps and having a rough week. Coming out here is kind of an escape for everybody, so glad to hear him have so much fun tonight and get this win. And he talked about being here in the future. We talked earlier in the race about this is the time of the year when we start to hear rumors about, drivers going places next season, and that even happens in NORA. The rumor mill kind of buzzing that Eric Sable might open his own team next season, so that's going to be interesting to see. So I can't wait to see what he does with that. And he's a great guy to run a team, so I'm going to try to help some of my guys out and get on his team, because he has a lot more experience than I do behind the wheel and a lot better talent. So but yeah, next week I'm going to be running here with these guys, so hopefully they let me in the JRC and Flatline hangout, because it seems like it's a fun time over there.
Yes, indeed, and we'll be sad to lose you from the booth, at least for this event, but also Sunday night we'll have a different commentator, so it'll be our first week going without Christian Snyder here in the booth, but we'll do our best without you. Certainly enjoyed all of these great races we've been able to call together, but you are a driver, and
yeah,
the calling is on for you to head back out there and get behind the wheel of your own team at least. So we look forward to that, my friend.
Yeah, I knew after Pocono and running pretty good with the trucks, I knew that was going to reignite the racer in me, and I saw Michigan on the schedule, and I was like, I've won there before, I can do it again.
Well, we'll see if we can make that happen, and of course, we'll be rooting you on here in VirtualRacing.Network, as professionally as we can with no bias. But certainly, we'll look forward to doing the in-car interviews as well. And once again, thank you to everybody out there who's joined us on YouTube. We appreciate all of the support, all the subscribers, everybody who follows us week in and week out. Of course, you can also follow us over on Facebook, as well as the National Oval Racing Association, NORA, and pick up on all of their updates as well. You can follow Snyder Graphics, facebook.com/Snyder Graphics, as well as Full Send Motorsports. So, it's all possible. Check us out over on Facebook. I'm Trevor Greenfield. This has been Christian Snyder on behalf of everybody here at VirtualRacing.Network and the NORA Cup Series. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you this coming Sunday for the Icon Cup Series. On behalf of everybody, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Until then, so long, everybody.